Shane Kryzak, Battle Royal tonight, first ever Eastern Continental Champion. How you feeling?
How am I feeling? Spookus, how would you feel if you took this damn long to finally get in a position that you felt like you deserved from the start? I mean, let's be real here, man. 10 years I've been hanging around this place. Not just here, but everywhere. I've been up and down learning, making myself better. But for what? For who? These people don't appreciate it, they don't recognize it, and they damn sure don't notice it. So it's taken me this long to get here. So it's not about that championship, it's not about this rumble, it's not about winning or losing, it's about proving myself, Spooky. It's about proving myself to these people that I'm a hell of a lot more than they seem to think that I am. And it's a damn shame it's taken this long and it's taken me this much to get them to finally start to listen. But I want to make sure they hear me loud and clear when I say I'm the baddest dude on the roster, that I'm taking this place over, and there's not a damn thing anybody can do to stop me. In fact, I'd love to see him try, Spooky.
Best of luck, sir.
Yeah.
Wrestling President, I am happy to award you this new Eastern Continental Championship belt and to announce that you are the inaugural champion for Real Shoot Wrestling. Jay Kryzak, I know where you come from. You were there when I started, so I know that you've been up and down the road all these years. You finally got your title. You finally proven everybody wrong with the Days of Thunder win. The new Eastern Continental Champion. How do you feel as your name will go in the record book for the first time in Real Shoot Wrestling?
Sean, I feel like it's a pretty good start. You see, I feel like maybe when I open my mouth, you fools will start to listen to what I have to say. And I feel like you're all witnessing a new evolution in the story that is Kryzak. You know where I'm from. You're gonna learn. Folks, I've been doing this. I'm gonna keep doing this. And no one's gonna stop me. Bring your heroes. I'll kill them all. told them, Lou. I told everybody, Lou. And now, when I speak, they will have no choice but to listen. Say it to me one more time.
Spooky Lou, another wonderful WrestleRoni for me and for you. It's anniversary week. I wanted to do it big. There's no one bigger right now in the state of West Virginia than the first ever RSW Eastern Continental Champion. Welcome, Shane Kryzak. How we feeling, baby?
Feeling good, Spooky Lou. I appreciate you bringing me onto your program this evening. It's good to be champ. It's good to be here, and it's good to finally reach out to the folks in the scene and let them know how Kryzak really feels.
This one's long overdue. But I say everything happens for a reason, and I definitely appreciate you giving me the first scoop, the first interview as champion. Let's go back to Saturday. You called your shot. You knew you're a smart man, obviously. Take me to that battle royal. What was going through your mind, man?
Well, Spookus, if I can be very transparent with you, every part of me wanted to come out and take that #1 spot. I wanted to say, you know what? Let me prove I am what I say that I am. And let me stand out there and force everybody to watch me as I dominate star after star, as all the guys in the back come pouring in and pouring over. And then I take this belt home just the same way I did. But I realized that was a fool's errand, Spooky. I realized that was a fool's errand designed to please people who will never be pleased by me. These are folks who decided a long time ago they didn't want to hop on my hype train. So now they get left at the station as I ride my way to success, brother.
Hey, I can't disagree. The results speak for themselves. The first ever Eastern Continental Champion for RSW. That's a big deal in my book, man. I think this reign can really take us all places. I'm right on board the train. Believe me, take us to the promised land. What's some plans? What we thinking we're going to do with the belt?
Well, first and foremost, Spooky, that's why you're getting this scoop. For all the naysayers, all the doubters, you've always been one to represent Kryzak fairly. You've had your critiques, but I can take that, man. I have no problem when people say they've got an issue with one thing or another. It's the cowards that won't say it directly I have a problem with. That's why you're getting this scoop, Spooky. And that's why, as far as the title goes, I've got big plans. Because it's very important to me. This is a historical moment in RSW where the first ever Eastern Continental Champion is crowned. That gives me the opportunity to set a precedent, to let everyone know what this title means, what this championship is all about. And for me, that's going to be defined two ways. You're going to see this title is on the card. You're going to see a championship match featuring Kryzak, and you're going to know that's going to be match of the night, bar none. This title means quality. This title means improvement to everything, myself and the business surrounding. We're all going to be improved by this title. And that second thing is exactly that, promotion. When you see this belt, you know it's only going to be on the most important of shows. You better believe I'm defending my belt as often as possible, because every show I appear on is the most important show, Spooky. Every show this belt appears on will be the most important show. It's going to help catapult me to where I belong, right on Dustin's heels. You better believe I'm looking to wear this alongside that heavyweight belt. And hell, Dustin better watch out, because I might just become a Triple Crown champion in front of everybody.
Oh, you might Ultimo dragging it up around here, huh? I like it. I dig it. Hey, that takes me to perfect segue. We do have a fan question for you, and you named some names, but maybe we'll get another name or two out of you. Mark Bunnell writes in, who are you looking forward to the most to defend the belt against? It's weird wording, but who are you looking forward to defend the belt against, basically?
I like that question. I like that question because it puts destiny in my hands, Lou. It lets Kryzak say, here's what I want, and here's what I deserve. And I mean, I look down the laundry list of guys we've got, and there's no shortage of talent. I mean, I mentioned Dustin, I mentioned Duzen. Hell, I'll talk about Duff, I'll talk about Logan, I'll talk about Trevor. All these guys deserve shots. But if you want to know who I want the most, who I honestly want to give a shot the most to, it's a man named Brandon St. James. I think he's one of the most talented guys we've got. He's been one of the most challenging fights that I've had. And while I may have beaten Brandon in our last exchange, I see him constantly improving, making himself better. He's somebody I think deserves more opportunities than what he's given. But Brandon, don't take this the wrong way, my friend. I offer up the title shot only because I need better defenses against better men. Nobody is separating me from this championship.
I love it. You guys had a classic in Monongah. Another perfect segue, man. We're back in Monongah, my hometown, tomorrow, July 4th. It's you and FC Mason. Let's talk a little bit of Power Slam. What do you know about the kid? What have you seen in him? What can we expect from this match tomorrow?
Now, you know that's personal for me, Lou, because every time I come out, the first thing I make sure people know is I fight out of the Power Slam Academy. That's very important for me. Power Slam has been something I've been involved with since its inception. And the guys in charge there, the trainers like Chance Prophet, Jason Kincaid, Casey King's been attached. And I mean, that's not to mention all the times they've hosted seminars from Chase Owen, from Dr. Tom Pritchard. I mean, talented guy after talented guy has gone into that academy and come out a championship caliber talent. And FC Mason is no exception. Don't get me wrong, the guy is talented. I see everything in him and Tyler Rossfield and all these other guys who are coming out of the most recent grouping. But what FC hasn't really had is a true challenge, a true hard-hitting challenge, because you're going to experience a difference, FC. You're going to see that the matches with your fellow trainees, the matches with the guys in your year are going to be fun. They're going to be enjoyable escapades and adventures that show off what you can do. I'm not looking to show off what you can do. I'm looking to show off what I can do. And what I is hurt you, FC. I can hurt you very badly. I mean, hell, I've been beating the life out of guys twice your size and triple your skill for well past 10 years, Spooky. And July 4th is the anniversary. I had my first wrestling match on July 4th. So I'll be damned if I'm going to let anybody beat me on my WrestleVersary. I'm looking forward to it, Spooky.
Wow. Yo, it's my WrestleVersary tomorrow. It's a special day for both of us. Tomorrow we'll make... Well, actually, I'm lying. Today's my WrestleVersary. The first RSW show I attended kind of changed my life. And you was talking earlier about I may have critiqued you here and there, and you respect my opinion. So let's get the question. A question I've always had. We're being straight up here. You're a hell of a talent. You're a hell of a worker. Anybody in the locker room will say that times 10. But there's some things, you do have some tactics that I feel aren't necessary. I think you can get the job done without some of these heel tactics, some of this stuff you do. Now, what I say in commentary is Kryzak just does it because he can, because he wants to. Am I right? Am I wrong? What's your point of view on this?
Now, you're half right, Spooky. There's an element of who's going to stop.
Okay.
You're right. But it takes another layer to that. And I want people to understand that my problems, my issues, my anger that has come out of late, it's not directed entirely towards the guys in the back. I've got my problems with the guys in the back, but the issues that portray themselves forthright are the ones I have with the fans. The folks who had those opportunities, Spooky, to say, you're our guy, Kryzak, to recognize the opportunity I presented, to be a pillar of the community, to uplift pro wrestling in the area as a whole. And they rejected me, man. for guys who look a little better, who move a little faster, their tattoos are a little cooler. I don't know who, what, or why, but they rejected me. So this is just my frustration coming out. And yes, sometimes that manifests with me slapping somebody or poking his eye out. But if that happens to one of my guys, just understand it's because you need to learn. You need to feel what it's like to fight. Too many of these guys are out here to perform. I'm here to fight. And a fight means you're going to have to be prepared for anything I bring at you. And when somebody can prove to me they can beat me in a fight, well, then maybe these tactics will change. Maybe I'll start to see reason, Spooky. But until somebody stops me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I dig it. I do. Let's talk about that frustration. It's been over 10 years of you busting your ass up and down the road, performing at top tier level above most of the talent we have in West Virginia. Spooky said it, be mad at me, whatever. How frustrating is it? 10 years, and here we are. You're finally getting your due a little bit, but 10 years of performing at such a level. Tell me about those frustrations.
I mean, where do I begin? I mean, do I start at coming in with a tag team where everybody was more concerned with my partner? Everybody wanted him coming in off the hot spots. Everybody wanted to run the booking through him and treat me like an afterthought. Hell, most promoters wouldn't put the cash in my hand, man. So it started there, but it continued after he left. He abandoned them. I mean, hell, most of the guys I came in with aren't even in this business anymore. The ones, some of them got injured and left. Others found better ventures. I'm still here, dude. I ain't left and I ain't leaving. Nobody can make me go away because this is all I've got, Spooky. And then I watch guys come in after me. 6-7 years I get in this business. I watch guys coming after me who are half as talented, getting twice the opportunities. So yeah, that pisses me off too. And so yeah, this is long overdue, but I'll tell you straight up, it's not enough. I'm done asking or waiting for somebody to see something in me. I'm here to show you exactly what I've always had in me, what you refuse to see in me, and I will do whatever it takes to show it. It's this title. It's the next title. It's not enough. It'll never be enough until everybody is singing out my praises, is saying my name, and recognizes, hell, we may not have liked the way he did it, but damn, look at what he did.
Hey, and I got to go back to Saturday night. When you won that belt, I heard some cheers. I heard quite a bit of cheers, and you weren't a very nice guy that night. So I think you're getting the respect. We're talking about all the years you've been in the business, seeing guys come and go. Let's talk about the business itself. Tell me about the good changes you've seen. Tell me about the bad. Tell me the ugly. Tell me about the changes you've seen in the West Virginia scene over the past 10 years.
I'd love to, Spook, because nothing makes me more proud of where we've come. Because I mean, I broke in at a time where it was very difficult to get in, and not for a good reason. There were far too many guys allowing folks to eke by with improper training. And so now I see, when I look around at the state of West Virginia as it is, you can almost guarantee guys have gone through extensive, proper training. They know what they're doing. They're putting out quality matches, and you could have the confidence that our level of talent has risen over the years. It used to be you had to go away. I went away, man. I had to go and stay in Dayton for a long time just to have a new place to perform, have new opinions and influences to teach me and make me better. We used to have that concept called finishing school, that you needed to go and really learn how to be a star. It's one thing to be a wrestler. It's another thing to be a star. And I think we're finally seeing West Virginia being capable of building real stars. Nothing could make me more proud.
Hell yeah. We're talking about building new stars. Perfect segue again. I'll start with Duzan. I want to get to Rucker as well. Don't let me forget. You've had some wars with Duzan. I really think you've elevated his game. Call me crazy. I think he's elevated yours a bit. Tell me about all you can about Duzan.
I mean, that's a story. I mean, one of the first guys I took on making this new run with Real Shoot Wrestling, and the first guy that I met in singles championship competition, I thought he was easy picking. I mean, anybody who looks at the guy is gonna think he's an easy fight. But the more I found myself across the ring from Dusan, the more I realized there's a lot more beyond the surface to this guy. I mean, never mind who he is personally. Never mind how much of a quality guy he seems to be. I want him at every turn, if possible. But make no mistake, Lou, I recognize a good dude when I see one, and he's a good dude. And he's a talented, hard fighter who doesn't give up. And I don't know. Look, I consider myself to be the toughest man, bar none, mind you, the toughest man in professional wrestling. But damn it, Dusan might be a close second, because I've hit him with some of my hardest shots. I've watched this guy eat my boot leather and back up. I mean,
Yep.
I have a saying about, if I kick somebody with my left foot and they don't go down, I'll kick them with the right. And if I kick them with the right and they don't go down, I'm going to walk around them to see what's still holding them up. And yet Dusan still manages to get up every single time. So, yeah, talented, tough, and with the right moves, he could go to the right places. I have no doubt about it.
For sure. You're talking about those hard shots. I'm the guy in the car with Rucker on the way home when he's talking about these hard shots from Kryzak. You're making a man out of him. Tell me what your thoughts on Mr. Rockstar himself, Anthony Rucker.
Well, look, Rucker's a special case for me. A very special case for me. Whether he realizes it or not, I see a lot of myself in this kid, because I broke in 17, 18 years old. I didn't really know enough about the world or about myself in particular to be beneficial to the business. I had to do a lot of learning and a lot of growing and a lot of development before I could even begin to hope to put out matches, let alone exist or find a space for myself in the business. So with Rucker, I guess you could say it's anointment by fire. It's me putting him into that hot seat a little faster than he might like it. But he's going to realize he's going to come across guys very quickly that want to hit him a hell of a lot harder than I do. So I'm just toughening the kid up. I'm just getting him ready. He hasn't yet beat me. I don't know that he's got what it takes right now to beat a guy on my level. But I think in the very near future, Rucker is without a doubt capable of carrying RSW on his back into a new era, leading a new generation of guys who can help propel us into a separate market. I really do think Rucker offers a lot of opportunities for us as a business. It's just very fortunate that the matchmakers seem to really enjoy putting him across from me, because I'm going to be one hell of a brick wall to get past.
Iron sharpens iron. And you're talking about whenever you first got in the business. Who was your Shane Kryzak? Who was toughening you up, making you better?
I mean, I look back at my early years, and I think in a lot of ways, Chance Profit really sharpened me in a way that maybe is different from the way I sharpen guys now, because he made me consider things while I'm in a match that I hadn't before, and he made me actively think about it, every angle and avenue and possibility for opportunity to win. There was too much of my early years spent on trying to be some sort of big bombastic star, and it took from what I am, which is a reality-based fighter. I want to grab you, I want to hurt you, I want to beat you, and if I can't take the time to, ask for the crowd's approval in the interim, well, that's just a byproduct of what I need to do to win. I'm not going to sacrifice success for the sake of, putting myself in a position of adulation from the crowd. And Chance Profit taught me that. A guy who understands how to captivate audiences the way that he does really has a way of turning minds and unlocking things within you that make you a better performer. And in those early years, nobody did that better for me.
I love it. You talked about you recently came back as your best run in RSW. Tell me about your first run, your first impressions when you first got to RSW, long before the Spooky Lou days. What was you seeing back then?
It's a mixed bag for RSW back in those days. It was fun for me. Of course, I was still tagging with Cobain at the time, and OVER was making its rounds, and we were hot. I mean, we were real hot. And I remember coming to RSW, and the vibe for those shows was a little bit grittier and a little bit dirtier. And to me, again, while it was fun, it didn't have the soul that RSW does now. I came around then, and again, I remember getting opportunities against the Horsemen and guys like Connard, and we talk about the Headless Horseman and Connard and Gory, like having opportunities to wrestle guys. I remember buying tickets to go and watch.
Right.
When I was 13 years old, so I was very happy with the matches and the quality of work that we put in our old days of our RSW. But once it was re-envisioned, there was something post 2020 that re-envisioned RSW and reshaped it, reformed it, and has given it this new shine that has made it, to me, a much better product, a much better place to work, a much better locker room, and the people. Hell, we'll name names on here. When Tim Cross made all of these improvements and made his product better, it inspired guys like me to work that much harder and to be able to put out a match quality, work quality that is on the level of what he wants to produce.
I dig it. And that puts a thought in my head. I was on Facebook last night. Duke Davis put out a post saying, wouldn't it be nice if all Pennsylvania could work together and put on a super show? And I've heard things like that here in West Virginia. But lately, hey man, I'm even friends with WVWF guys. It seems, to me at least, and tell me if I'm wrong, please do, we're all getting a little closer. Things are coming together. Would it ever be possible to see a super show from ASW, Power Slam, VCW, all the feds in the area? What can we do to make that happen? Is it possible? What's your thoughts?
I mean, this is a question, Spooky, you asked me 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say there's no chance. There's just too many guys in too many places who have disagreements about this and that. But this business, man, it has a way of weeding out the problems itself.
Yeah.
A lot of those problems, and again, I'm not here to harbor ill will towards anybody. I've been very gracious to be a part of this thing, and anybody who's used me anywhere, I thank you very much, and I hope everybody continues the working relationship that they have. But I have to speak truth, man. Like, mm-hmm. There was a time where that was not an obtainable goal, but now, as we stand in 2024, absolutely. I mean, it's almost a no-brainer to me. I look at how well the guys get along. I mean, sure, there are plenty of guys in ASW and VCW that don't cross over into the RSW section. I've dipped my toe into each area. And, hey, I used to be an ASW homer, and in a lot of ways, that's still my home. That's where I belong. I'm a little bit of a transplant that's made a new home out of RSW. But I still have love for all those guys in that locker room. I have love for a lot of the guys who have transferred over from the VCW locker room. I mean, hey, shout out to Cowpoke Paul. I think he just won the VCW Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
That guy deserves all the praise in the world. And again, we have talent that work well together, that agree on these types of things. And so it really just comes down to the guys in charge being able to make this happen. And I can speak very personally. I know them all very well. You guys are great guys. You're tremendous, tremendous bosses. We love working for each of you, and we'd love to see a super show. Not just us in the back. I know the fans as well would love to see a super show happen. So I definitely think it's possible. I definitely think it's possible, and I'd go so far as to say it's probably coming in the near future.
Hell yeah. I like the positivity. I think what we should do, go ahead and let PA run their super show. Let us run one. Let's compare results. Let's see who does it better. I think we'll surprise some folks.
So,
Hell yeah, man. We're on the right track. We definitely are. There's been some drama. There's been some here and there, but the shows speak for themselves. Besides RSW, what are you seeing in our area that you like from other folks? What are you seeing?
oh man, there's no shortage of fun organizations that have great shows they're putting on in West Virginia. I mean, in the surrounding area, of course, we got to show love to our Pennsylvania, Kentucky guys. I mean, just off the top of my head, we've mentioned ASW and all of the big stuff they do down there in Madison. Their big shows in Beckley. Those guys do tremendous work. But we've also got to talk about, I have a lot of love for the guys in Appalachian Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm going to be featured on their show July 5th in Ashland, Kentucky. Myself and Bishop Baylor are going to go down there dealing with the Riders, Jugulator, Trick Nasty, guys who long time in my past. I remember fighting the 108 Dragons during my debut for IWA East Coast. So we're going to revisit some of those issues on July 5th. So obviously a lot of love to ACW, and I'm really looking forward to airing out some of those grievances to that audience as well. I mean, how could I not mention Regatta Pro Wrestling right here in Charleston? I mean, I'm sitting down here across from Magic Island myself. I love living in Charleston. It's a beautiful community. I love the way we come together for the regatta. And I can't even begin to tell you how much Regatta Pro Wrestling means to me. Saturday, July 6th, we're getting out there by 3 p.m. Everybody's going to pile over to Slack Plaza, and we're going to have a wonderful show. There's going to be I'm going to be featured in the Battle Royal towards the beginning. You already know I'm a Battle Royal expert. I mean, there's no chance that's not my victory. So at the end, Bishop's going to defend his Regatta Pro Wrestling Championship against Casey Huffman, Huff Manley, the 8-bit kid. They say I've been banned from ringside, but Spooky, it's a fight. This is my hometown. How the hell are they going to keep me out of there? But listen, I could go on all day. It comes down to we are at a wonderful point where everybody who is doing something here is finally doing some of the right things. I obviously, love for the Power Slam Pro guys. But if I sit here and list them all, we're going to be here all night, man. I have a lot of love for where wrestling is at versus where it used to be. And I'm very thankful that we get the opportunities to do these things, man.
Hell yeah. Let's talk about this crazy schedule. I mean, I'm a part of it, and it's wild. It's a hot summer, damn hot. 2 shows tomorrow. You say you're working the day after. How does a guy like Kryzak, how do you maintain, man? You're busy. We're all busy.
That's a good question, man. I mean, that's for me. That's 4 shows, 3 days. We've got 2 on the 4th. I've got the 5th in Ashland. I've got the 6th right here in Charleston.
Wow.
I mean, we like to think the answer's hard, but we know it, don't we, man? It's the fans. It's as much as I might enjoy airing my grievances to them, that's my therapy, man. Like I might go out here and yell at a lot of these folks. I might go out here and make some ugly faces at a lot of these folks, but it's that interaction right there that's going to keep me doing it, man. I mean, we're not taking time off. We're not resting. We're not taking breaks. I got a championship to defend. The simple answer is, Spoonie, we have to do it. We have to. We can't take the time off because who else is going to step in and take care of it? Who else but us can be the guys to step up and lead, not just RSW, but pro wrestling, independent wrestling in West Virginia, in Pennsylvania, in Kentucky, in Ohio. There's no boundary. There's no geographical limitation to what we do here, man. We're taking it to the next level, and only us could be the guys to do it, man. There's no question. We have to, Lou.
Yeah, I 110% agree. I've been saying since I started this podcast, we're on the midst of a perfect storm, and I think it's now. We have the talent. Let's talk about the fans. You're talking about the fans. They're not very nice to you, but I understand where they're coming from. But let's talk about Clarksburg. We didn't have a ton of fans, but as loud as they were, it felt like there was over 300 people in there. I'll be honest with you. I'll say it right here on the podcast. It got to a point when they were cheering for Paulie, I was literally tearing up at ringside trying to keep my shit together and record. Just tell folks that haven't seen the footage yet, what was that about these West Virginia fans?
I mean, I don't know what it is, if it's something in the water, if it's something in the air. It might just be these mountains, man, but something makes these West Virginia crowds so engaging and so enrapturous and so enveloping that it just brings something out of us. The emotional reaction we have when crowds connect with what we're doing is overwhelming, man. So I know what you mean. Like I've stood in the back and I've heard Doozen walk out. I've heard Killpiss walk out. I've heard the guys step out of the curtain and these places erupt. But I mean, imagine the difference. Imagine how it makes me feel when I hear them cheer for the same guys walking out that curtain. And the moment I step through, it turns into a wave, an aura of booze that I can feel. I don't know how to describe it, man, but I feel it hit me. And I think that brings it out more than anything. I'm always ready to engage with the crowd however I need to, but they set the tones when they boo me the way they do. I mean, who can blame me for just speaking a few truths, that, making a few honest observations, that there are a few horse-faced women in the audience, that a couple might look like, hicks from the dirty mountains and the ugly valleys. It's not my fault they chose to come out looking the way that they do. I'm just pointing out once they chose to make a problem.
Right. Okay. I dig it. I follow. It makes sense. You can't argue that, man. Talking about fans, let's go back to Morgantown a few months ago. We're in the middle of a downpour. We got fans sitting there ringside in ponchos. What can you tell me about this match in a downpour, a thunderstorm with Dustin Alexander? One of my favorite moments in wrestling, bar none. What do you remember from that day?
That's a hard one to forget. That'll probably be something I talk about for a long time, just because of how memorable it was. I mean, I remember stepping out into that downpour, feeling the cold rain smack my back and thinking, is this really worth it?
Okay.
And then I step in the ring, I see the folks on the balcony, the guys in the ponchos, and I realize it must be. I mean, there's no walking back, Spooky. I'm out here.
Yeah.
Right? So I remember once the fight is on, everything else kind of doesn't matter. You really lock in to just trying to win. And I mean, this is a heavyweight championship match. I knew it was going to take everything I had. I knew I had to be at the top of my game. And I pulled out all the stops that I had. I mean, everybody's seen the clip of me kicking Dustin 6 different ways from Sunday. And I think on any other day, any other dry day, that wins me that match. But I'm just, with a slick round, you can't generate the torque you need in your hips to deliver those kicks. All I'm saying is, Spooky, that's a memorable night, and it will live on with me for two simple reasons. Number one, the cinematic nature of what you filmed that evening was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. And number two, I can't help but feel there's a little bit of an asterisk next to the fact that the only opportunities I've had for a heavyweight championship match have been during a shitstorm and have been during a secondary show that same night. Not only did I have to fight the title in the rain, I didn't have to go after being beaten in the rain, drive another hour and fight the same champion. No time to change tactics, no time to adjust training, no time to even check for injury, man. I just had to go out there and do it. I'm not complaining, baby. Make no mistake. I did it. I went out. I gave it all I had. I fell short. But don't think I haven't kept that in the back of my mind as to wondering when I might just get my fair, true shot at that RSW Heavyweight Championship.
I can't wait. I'm sure it'll happen again. Dustin's on a roll, man. I think if it happens again, it's going to be Dustin again. He has Kincaid tomorrow. That's going to be tough, but dude's unstoppable right now. But at the same time, Shane Kryzak's pretty unstoppable. The gold speaks for itself, you know. I'm going to switch it up on you, Kryzak. I ask everybody when they come on the show, one of my favorite segments, and a lot of folks can't come up with an answer. If you don't have an answer, that's fine. We need a crazy road story. Or 2 or 3. We got a half hour, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to try and keep myself out of too much trouble.
Fair enough.
So I'll talk about just a simple, unique story that I like talking about. And one part of it is the sentimentality to me.
Okay.
Since I had an opportunity to drive New Jack to and from the airport.
Oh, shit.
Which was a very unique pairing. If you can see myself and New Jack, it was interesting. But you know, anybody who hadn't spent time with Jack, he's very much more enjoyable after the show than before. Once a man's paid and he knows he's taken care of and he's not getting hurt, he's comfortable, relaxed. And at the time, so the plan was to take him we were driving him to the airport in Beckley, drop him off at a bar there called Munchies. So he loosens up a little bit on the drive. He makes some jokes. I remember us stopping at a gas station, and a woman had her baby like sitting on the top of the car while she was cleaning it out or what have you. And I remember it looked like she was getting in her car. I remember Jack just shouting, "Bitch, get your baby." So like he was having fun. He was having a good time. We get to Beckley. And, you know, he asked, he's like, "You guys going to come inside for a little bit?" And I was like, how am I going to say, how are we going to pass up an opportunity to go in and listen to New Jack talk for a little bit over some drinks? So we get inside and he's telling us his drink of choice was it was a Long Island iced tea with a little bit of peach schnapps in it. And He tells us of how he discovered that drink while doing guest bartending for an old like ECW show where he and Sandman did guest bartending, and they got to just basically they used it as an excuse to mix all these crazy cocktails. And that's what he realized he loved a Long Island with peach schnapps. And of course, you know, my friend had driven with us. I call him Frosty. Shout out Frosty, right? He rode up with us, and he was there. Came in and he was a little quiet throughout the night, and you know he was nervous, right? Like I've learned, you can't be nervous around wrestling stars. So you just can't. You got to interact with them like they're normal people. And he had kind of stayed quiet, stayed to the side. Night comes and goes. We enjoy a few more drinks. Jack's ready to call it an evening, so we go ahead and get back in the car, head back to Charleston. My buddy Frosty sat there and he says to me, he says, "You know, man, I don't think Jack really liked me too much. He didn't say much to me while we were in there." And I thought on it. I said, "Hey, man, I think you were standing on his right side the entire night." And as we know, New Jack is blind on one side. So Jack had an issue with my friend. It was New Jack had absolutely no idea that my friend was there the entire night.
Right.
So I'm driving home, and he's finally realizing that New Jack wasn't ignoring him, that he just had no clue that half of the room existed. So I really enjoyed the time I got to spend there with New Jack, and of course he passed not that long after, and that was a really unfortunate time. And so like getting that one brief moment where I got to see like his real side and hear those stories from him. Having him talk about the his favorite drinks and stuff, it was just a really eye-opening experience to kind of like peer into his personality, and that was a really fun time for me. So I think that's my favorite story I get to tell. It's not exactly the most exciting or salacious, but I told you, though, I'm gonna try and keep myself out of trouble around here. You know what I mean?
Fine. I'll ask for those stories at the show tomorrow. Fair enough.
Like I said, come see me at the shows. We'll tell some more stories, but. As far as that goes, I think that's the best we can fit into this, huh?
I'm always down. I'm always down for story time. I'm glad you brought Jack up because I don't think I've had an opportunity on the show to discuss my interaction with New Jack. I'll make it brief here. It was an ECW show, probably 1999 in Pittsburgh, and he's out. They always had the boys out there signing autographs for free before the show. Always super cool. And I'm going up to get my autograph. He said, "Look at these crazy white boys." And I turned around, and there was these two dudes fighting. And me and New Jack sat there and did commentary on dudes doing a fight, legit fighting. It was so fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's Jack, man. He was just he was the kind of guy who would just enjoy the craziest shit happening around him. So, yeah, that's so perfect.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I love it. What are we seeing in the future, Shane Kryzak? In a perfect world, when we roll into 2025, where would you like to be?
I mean, for me, I've just got to keep working, keep grinding, making myself better. I know that's first and foremost. 2025, I got to see a heavyweight title ring. I got to see myself wearing that strap, not for any other reason than I need to prove that I can do it. I need to prove that I can be the guy around here. Because if I can't be the guy here, how can I be the guy anywhere?
Yeah.
I'm going to do all that I can to step up, make myself bigger, badder, and better than I have ever been before, so that I can take us into a new future, Spooky. I want to be the guy to carry us into a new era. But even further than that, I'm also looking into an expansion. I want to see Bishop Baylor have a bigger role here at RSW. I want to be alongside him as we win tag team gold. I won't be happy until I've held every belt we have. And I could very easily see a sight of my heavyweight championship alongside our tag team championships. I see no reason I don't have the talent and the ability to absolutely run the table. And when I have those belts, believe it, everybody in the back is going to get a shot. They're all going to be disappointed in the results, but everybody is going to get a shot.
Hell yeah. Now, you brought up a good point. You want to be the guy here in West Virginia. And that's great. Hey, be the guy. Be the guy. But let's be real here. On a national scale, somebody says, Shane Kryzak's the guy in West Virginia. Unfortunately, we're West Virginia, man. We don't have much of a claim when it comes to that. What can we do to eliminate this stigma? What can Shane Kryzak, Jason Kincaid, Jeff Paul, all these greats that we have in the area, what can we do to get rid of that stigma to show that we're part of this and we're a huge part of this?
All right, so this will probably be the biggest clip that we can get here.
Okay.
So I want everybody to get ready for this one. We need to start holding each other accountable for our performances.
Okay.
That's the secret ingredient right there, Lou. If everybody feels responsible for the next guy's performance, we're only as good as the next guy on the card. So if we hold each other accountable, we make sure we're all well practiced. Iron sharpens iron, man. We make sure we're all in the fire, grinding as hard as we can, putting in as much effort as we can to be the best that we can, then truth will out. Everyone will see the end result is better match quality, better production quality. We simply have to care about what we're doing. You care a lot about what you're doing, and it shows, man. You've got good quality. You've improved the production quality of RSW over the last 2 years. And I mean, it shows. It's made a difference in the fans. It's made a difference for the boys. We work harder because others are putting in the efforts, and the same is true across the board. I'm not in as pivotal of a role in other locker rooms, so I can't be the guy to reach across and say, "Hey, we need to look out for it." And I know ASW has Ron Mathis and Bruce Gray doing a wonderful job of making sure all of those guys are producing top quality matches. I know Power Slam Pro has Chance Prophet, myself, Casey King, all these guys in their locker rooms really reining things in. So as long as we keep having those pillars of our sport, holding guys accountable and chaining them to quality And again, it's not about calling people out publicly. It's not about saying negative things on Facebook. That gets nothing done. We need to have these conversations like men directly across from one another, where we can say, hey, here's where you need to be. Here's what you need to do. Here's how you can improve. And I invite that back. Like, I want that. I want to hear the ways I can improve and be better, the same way I want to tell people how they can improve and be better. There's not a time limit on that. You don't have to put a certain amount of hours or miles in to be able to put forth a good quality opinion about what somebody needs to do to get better. We just got to hold each other accountable, man. And then we're going to eliminate all this stigma. There's been too much. That's what I broke into. It was worse back then. There was too much of these guys who were just kind of having matches as opposed to looking at their match in relation to the card structure. We got to hold each other accountable. We got to do better for ourselves and for our brothers in this business.
I'll dig it. I dig it. And I'm glad you brought that up and worded it the way you did, because you are very respected in our locker room. People do value your opinion. I want to go back to Buchanan. I wasn't even going to mention this on the show, but I think it's important to add to your point. We got rid of a few goofs. They threatened to come shut the show down. They were going to show up, beat us up, blah, 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 whatever. But what I saw at Buchanan was a locker room, an entire crew that was tighter than ever. I think that really changed things. And we were good before. Everybody gets along. We're doing great. But that Saturday in Buchanan, it really felt like we were a close-knit family. Did you see it? Do you see what's going on? What's your opinion?
Absolutely, man. I've seen the improvement in the RSW locker room from the second I stepped back in. I mean, I felt the drastic change from my gap, from my time away. Mm-hmm. I felt that change. And I felt it only steadily improving. It's one guy, it's two guys, and these aren't personal things. I don't want anyone to sit here and think that because guy A or guy B isn't isn't working actively with the company, that it's somehow he was a problem.
Right.
We just need to make sure we have the best guys to produce the best quality, and that's really the name of the game. So, doing that step by step, and it's a painstaking process where we put the right guys. They say put your aces in their places, right? So mm-hmm. We've got the right guys doing the right things. And is everything perfect? No, everything's not perfect. But as we move forward, everything will start to fall into place, and those final pieces will lock in. And you're absolutely right, Lou. It's tighter than it's ever been, and it's only going to get better. These types of controversies and these types of difficulties, these tend to bring the proper people together, and the ones who don't fit in will simply fall out, and we'll keep on rolling.
I dig it. Now, you mentioned we got to have the best of the best, and I'm all about that. Now, so we got the best of the best. When do we make the time, and how can we make the room to give guys that we're not sure if they're the best of the best, but they deserve an opportunity? How do you balance that?
I mean, you gotta take shots. I mean, don't get me wrong. As somebody who came in and as somebody who now preaches that I wasn't given enough opportunities, that I saw more in myself than anybody ever did, I'm going to be the first guy to say, let the guys go. You got to let guys go. You got to give them. And we've seen it with FC Mason. We've seen it with Tyler Russell. We've seen it with and I mean, hey, shout out to Troy Parker, too, who's absolutely killing stuff up north. Nurse Micah, Jay Wild, I can shout out all the Power Slam guys who've done similar stuff. They're being put in opportunities to prove themselves, and they're absolutely crushing it. They're killing it across the board, and it speaks for itself. We've got to give guys the opportunity. Look, does that mean some guys aren't going to connect with the RSW audience? Absolutely. But we've said before, this is a vocal, engaged crowd that will let you know how they feel. So if you're not capable of getting a rise out of them, it's more emblematic of what you're doing at the time than it is of the crowd itself. But that still doesn't mean you don't got a spot here. Some guys just, got to figure out what's going to work here. Because what I used to do at RSW didn't work. I came back, tried something new, and it's working a hell of a lot better. So again, just because guys come in, get an opportunity, and don't excel, doesn't mean they can't still find their place amongst the best.
Exactly. And I'm so glad that you mentioned FC Mason Tyler Rossville, because when we was talking about opportunities, we gave him an opportunity at Mayhem on the Mountain. They went out there and may have had match of the night, in my opinion. The two over-delivered. We've talked a little bit about FC. Tell me a little bit about what you've seen out of Tyler Rossville.
Tyler is a tremendously eager and talented individual who is going to do a lot for himself. I think he knows exactly what he needs to be working on, and I think he knows he's got the right guys in place. I mean, I've heard him, taking advice from Vance Desmond. I know he's taking good. As long as these guys remember to listen to those people around them who want to see them improve, and that's what Power Slam's all about, man. It's making sure that training doesn't end just because you're not at the school training, right? You're training at every show. You're getting better. You're seeing what the other matches are doing, how the crowd's reacting to it, and what you can implement to make yourself better. So Tyler, I think he gets that. I think he knows that. And with a few, he's already performing moves and having matches that a lot of guys aren't capable of ever, let alone at his experience. So give the guy some time to really iron out who he is. I think he's just got to find himself. I don't know how old he is, but he seems like a young guy. And I think once, some guys, once they hit that moment of self-actualization and realize who they are as people, then they really kind of find where they need to be to connect. And once he connects, off to the races.
Yeah, definitely. I agree 110%. And we're always talking, all of us always say we learn something new every day. Going back to your point, always learning. And I do. I learn every show. Just to prove my point, you've been in the business well over 10 years. Give me something you learned in the past month.
Man, I mean, we were just talking about this, actually. I was talking to Bishop just yesterday, talking about the importance of pacing and timing, and how, without opening the curtain too much here, how important it is to be able to continue your story without necessarily turning the page. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say to you?
Yeah, okay.
So a lot of times guys will find themselves in a position where they want to get to a certain story beat, but the process is a little bit boring or not exciting enough. And I've learned just from watching and observing how other guys are pacing their matches and how the crowd's reacting to them, that it's okay to add a few sentences to this part of the story, as long as we're not changing the page and actually going to the next chapter. You see what I'm trying to say there? Like, we can fill those few sentences and add a little bit to this, as long as the heart of the story remains the same. Like that's crucial for me in terms of like adjusting the way we're pacing things, and the way I'm trying to control a match is vital when it comes to success. So like watching that and having that light bulb moment kind of click for me of like, oh, I can really take my time here and there, and it really is a beautiful sport that can just have you go through these eureka moments in just the most subtle ways.
I just had one. I'll be honest with you. I've got a little project that I'm working on that is very story driven. And like you say, a lot of times you want to get to those good moments, but maybe we need to add a little bit of dialogue here and there to make it more engaging. So I'm glad I asked that question. Spooky Lou learning something today. I'm glad I asked. Hell yeah, man. And I've noticed you're protective. I appreciate it. On WrestleRoni, I say we're the realest wrestling channel on YouTube. I've even been accused of people say I'm killing the business. Where's the line? Because I'll give you my argument. I always say that when people watch a match, they're only seeing half the beauty of wrestling. The other half is on the road with the boys, in the locker room, the things you learn in training, yada, yada, yada. So just be real with me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. You've been around 10 years, so you probably got a different way of looking at things than I do. Where is the line? what's Shane Kryzak's opinion?
I think, and I've always kind of said this, the most important thing is exactly that word, protect. Firstly, protect your opponent, protect yourself, protect the business. Those are the three most important things that I live by. Look, man, it's out, right? The secret's out there. I'm not here to protect anything or be a stalwart gate against these dirt sheets and this. Like, that's not me, man. I like engaging my section of the audience in a certain way. It's more comfortable for me to be Kryzak than it has ever been to be Cody. So for me to engage in that light and to still hold that layer of protection, it means something to me because I know it means something to my trainer, adorable Danny Ray. He came around at a time where you had to protect. So it doesn't matter to me, but I'm a to each their own kind of guy. Like I don't define this business, I just define what I do. So whatever people en masse think is acceptable in terms of what they should and shouldn't know, it's not really my place to say. I'll share what I'm comfortable sharing. I'll give my opinions, but especially as a guy who, helps associates with and promotes a place that helps teach young people to learn these things. I don't know. I want to give everything away. There is some element of magic, like that you need to see and let be magical behind that curtain.
For sure.
But it never bothers me. It's never something I'm upset about.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate it. Definitely do. And believe it or not, we're in the final 5 minutes of the show. This has flown by. Been a magical interview, to say the least. But in the final 5 minutes, usually 10, sorry, Kryzak, I'll give you extra time if you need it. I always tell folks, feel free to plug whatever you need to plug, put out the socials, merch, if there's anything you want to get off your chest, if there's any advice to up-and-coming talent, anything in the world you want to put out there, my platform is your platform, sir. You have at it.
It's just a freestyle 5 minutes. Let's see. Let's start by just thanking you first and foremost, Spookler. Like having me on here to talk has been very cathartic for me. I don't types of things. I'm not a big interview guy. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a very private individual. So to open my home to you, to open this interview to you is it means a lot to me. So I hope it means a lot to you and to the people who are going to take the time to watch and listen.
For sure.
I know I'm a good guy, so I hope I'm not killing the view count, but I'm just appreciative for the opportunities that I have been given. I'm eager to seek out the new opportunities I'm going to take, and I hope that everybody who does who does take the time to see this knows that I want nothing but success for everybody here. I think there's a seat for everybody at the table, and I want to find a way where we can all work towards being the best versions of ourselves. As far as advice to younger talent, which is super weird to me, man. I've been the guy for so long to just now step into this role at RSW where I don't like using the word veteran, but where I'm kind of looked to for advice is very strange to me. So I'll just say this. Reach out if you need help, if you need advice, if you want reviews, whatever it is. Reach out to better wrestlers. Reach out to guys who you respect, who you like, who you want to have respect for you. Reach out to them, ask them what they think, ask them their opinions. They'll either give it to you, or you may not like the way they give it to you, but they will at least have respect for the fact that you asked. Everybody that I see as my peer. Let's run it. Like, let's do this thing. I've got a title to defend. I've got a laundry list of guys who need to step in the ring with me. And I mean, as far as plugs, man, like I'm not a merchandise guy. Like I don't like there to be a financial obligation out of my audience. You can engage in what I'm doing for free.
Hell yeah.
You gotta pay for the admission tickets. Follow along the journey. Shane Kryzak's on Facebook, at Shane Kryzak on Twitter, at Shane Kryzak on Instagram. I've had those locked down, baby. It's as authentic as it gets, man. I'm not a heavy poster. But I try to promote everything I'm a part of. So if you want to be involved, you want to see what the title is going to do, you want to see where I'm going to go, you just follow along, and I promise you'll get the updates.
Hell yeah, man. I want to thank you, for real. I know you don't do a lot of interviews. I asked you, no hesitation. You did it. I want to tell you, the entire crew looks up to you. We're so proud. We're so happy to have you on board. I think you're doing great, not just for RSW, for the state, man. Like, let's put you out there and just let you do your thing and show the fucking world. For real, man. Like, you're killing it. You're on another level. Couldn't be happier to have you. It's anniversary week, man. We're doing it big. So talk about view count. No, it's anniversary week. There was one person that I reached out to. It was Shane Kryzak. And by God, we did it, man. So I thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. It really means a lot to me, man. Again, I've got a lot of respect for what you do, and I've got a lot of respect for all the guys. So that feel any of that love come back my way, it means a lot to me.
I know it does. I know it does. We'll keep shining, man. I'll ask you to hang on the line with me. To my listeners, to the viewers, it's anniversary week. Strap in. We got big announcements. We got crazy matches. We got the Eastern Continental Champion, by God, Shane Kryzak. So Spooky Lou's going to tell you, it was this time 2 years ago. I wasn't doing much of anything. I went out to an independent wrestling show, and it changed my life. So either go watch an independent wrestling show or go out there and pursue your dreams. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And can't thank you guys enough for 2 years of support and love. For real, it means the world. Join us tomorrow, Kryzak. Oh my goodness. Town Hall Monongah at 8. Fairview before that, 5 p.m. And you want to see Shane Kryzak? What, the next day? Where you at, Shane Kryzak?
Right after that, I'm in Ashland, Kentucky for Appalachian Championship Wrestling. That's me and Bishop Baylor up against the Riders. And then right after, we're back in Charleston, July 6th at 3 p.m. for Regatta Pro Wrestling. It's not just the pro wrestling, baby. It's the whole regatta. We're talking music. We're talking food. We're talking vendors. Everything is going to. This is the biggest thing Charleston does all year. So if you're in the area, if you're nearby, come check out the regatta. Check out Regatta Pro Wrestling. Come see me.
The bottom line is we're having fun, and we'd love it if you came and had some fun with us. Join us wherever you can. I'm going to let you live your life. We love you. Thank you again, Shane Kryzak. Represent us well, as you do. See you on the next go-around. Live at midnight, Shane Kryzak. I'm glad I remember that. July 5th, live at midnight. We're celebrating our anniversary. Oh. Hell yeah. We're out of here. Appreciate you. Love you.